This is Nyx.
Was the lie, you delusional bananas. How the hell are ya? Nyx, a warframe that is underestimated by way too many peasant penos. Rumored to be absolutely garbage and unusable. But in reality Nyx is actually quite amazing. Naturally this fact will be hard to see when you have your head up your ass 24/7. But hey, who am I to judge? The thing about Nyx is that she truly shines as a team player. Though capable, solo missions simply aren't her strong suit. Of course you can be a meta-slave hooligan and build her for assimilate only. Which is about as stimulating as watching grass grow. In a desert. On the moon. I am here to open your mind and help you dispatch of your corrupted ways. This is my all-rounder Nyx. Solo or in teams, this Nyx can and will carry your ass through everything on the star chart, and provide fun and engaging gameplay. So let's get into it. First off, Nyx has a passive ability that will make her 20% less likely to be hit by enemy fire. That's all fine and dandy, but if one bullet out of 1,000 hits you, you will be just as dead as if they all hit you. So do not count on that. First ability. Freak on a leash. This ability is about as straightforward as a police sobriety test. Cast it on an enemy of choice to make them your freaky slave that will fight for you for the duration of the ability. You can have only one of these goons active at a time. 4 seconds after the cast, your target will be stunned and will absorb all incoming damage from allies to extrapolate the damage output buff. How much of a buff your minion has gained will be indicated at the top right of your screen. In addition, you can choose to uncast the ability to select a new target or let the timer run out, at which point the target will take all of the damage you pumped into them at once. In most cases the punk will die from this, so they will not come back to bite you in the ass later. Now in my opinion, you totally can exploit this ability on heavy high damage targets if you want to. But I find more satisfaction in mind-fucking enemies such as infested ancient healers. You see, here is the thing, all of the zombie slaves you acquire will have all of their abilities work in your favor. And ancient healers have an aura that heals you over time and provides damage reduction. Eximus units of any kind are also a smart choice since they deal severe damage, cast super annoying AoE attacks and can take a beating. But that's just me. Like I said, you can do whatever floats your boat. See? Easy peasy. Next up. Valium Dispenser.
Free your mind.
I'm gay!
Nyx will discharge 6 telekinetic bolts that will reduce enemy buffs by 80%. I'm going to tell you right now, 80% in debuff in game isn't worth dick. I highly recommend you use the Augment Pacifying Bolts and one single Intensify mod. This will be enough to strip all buffs entirely and on top of that stun douchebag enemies for up to 10 seconds. Not only is this a decent and cheap means of crowd control that will help your sissy ass survive, but also it will make every armored unit basically as squishy as a wet tissue paper. However, do not let this ability fool you. It is not only good to strip armor. It will in fact strip any goddamn buff that annoying enemies love to use, such as corpus shields and infested ancient buffors of all sorts. Essentially, Nyx will delete all the rage-inducing shit the game can throw at you. Which is a blessing and makes her highly versatile regardless of faction you are up against. The only real downside to this ability is that you can only target 6 enemies with each cast. If you recast the ability, perhaps because you escape and encounter a new group of punks, then the previously affected goons will lose their stun state. Which is a damn shame and in my humble opinion, pretty pathetic. Nonetheless, this is a great ability that you can spam until your heart is content. However, I would suggest instantly killing affected foes before recasting on a new group simply to take advantage of the massive debuff these bolts bring to the table. Alrighty then, moving on. Press 3 for Sex Orgy. This ability clearly shows that Nyx saw the final scene of the movie, Perfume, one too many times. She casts chaos in a 25-meter radius around her. Every enemy caught by this wave of insanity will endure a short stun and a confusion proc, which will cause enemies to randomly target each other for the duration of the ability. Make no mistake though, Tenno, you will also be on the menu if you are too close to an affected enemy. So it would be in your best interest to yeet the hell out of the area and leave the swingers to finish each other off on their own. Damage-wise, this ability is not really all that great. The best thing about it is the crowd control you gain from it, which is nice and all, but also has its downsides. You see, goons affected by chaos will have all of their debuffs affect everyone on the battlefield equally or not at all. This means that Eximus units' fire dome will knock back you and the enemies. Again, however, if you cast and yeet, then you will not need to give a rat's ass about that since you will be nowhere near the shitstorm. Okay then. Next up, we are the Borg. All will be assimilated. With this ability, Nyx will hover in the air and take a nap while creating a protective sphere around her that will gain damage over time, and absorb incoming damage from friends and foes alike. Upon recast, Nyx will discharge a powerful blast dealing all damage types back at enemies, including the buff damage. Now in theory, this ability sounds pretty awesome, but guess what? It is actually total dog shit. I do not care if your favorite YouTuber told you otherwise. Of course, if you are a meta peasant, then you might like to use this ability only while modified for stupid high efficiency and duration. This will then be essentially God mode. However, I can hardly think of a less appealing playstyle. Even with the augment, Assimilate, which allows you to move around a little while absorbing, this ability still sucks ass. Your movement is severely impaired. And yes, I am aware that you can use operator mode to move around, but fuck that. Also, the more damage you absorb, the more energy is drained. So the higher the levels, the more problems you would have with energy economy. Now, before you cry me a river, allow me to tell you that you can waste your life however the hell you want. But I do not get jiggy with nonsensical lazy gameplay. So I suggest you use this ability as a panic button when you get close to dying. You may also want to pull a few rabbits out of your butthole when playing Nyx. So bring some sort of health regaining ability with you. Something like a melee equipped with healing return, or perhaps a Baker firearm, or the Furus with its life steal mod. Any of these will severely help you replenish your health very fast while in absorb mode. So there will be no need to stay in there for a long time and waste your energy with it. Another thing you can use absorb for is to protect the down teammate while they get revived. Or a defense target. Since your absorption sphere will protect anything within it. Well, that's just about everything I can tell you about this mental frame. Here is the all-rounder build I use for anything. With this build, I can hold my own solo but especially help out a team far into a survival mission or any other mission types on the star chart. But I am not saying this is the best way to build in Plan X. I will encourage you to give this build a shot and then modify it to your personal needs. In case you are in doubt of how well this build can work, I suggest you go check out my solo Nyx survival video, which I will link at the end of this one. You can also clearly see my playstyle there. In any case, I can honestly say that Nyx is a tricky one to master and build for. And I believe she is in dire need of a rework because as it currently stands and always has, Nyx needs help with far too many things to be decent. Range, strength, survivability, duration, literally every goddamn thing. And there simply is no way you can fit everything on her. But that does not mean she is bad in any way. Not at all. If you feel Nyx is a bad or even useless frame, then the problem is probably yourself and not the Warframe. And for those of you who whined about my survival video not being relevant, I will be expecting you to do significantly better without the use of an assimilate build. I will not hold my breath though. Now like and subscribe to this shitty channel and fuck off.